A girl from a poor family is humiliated in a luxurious restaurant, offering to play in front of rich guests for their amusement. But when she raises the bow, the whole room freezes, and it is at this moment that her journey begins. In a world where status is more important than sound, she decides to speak with music, louder than prejudice, louder than fear. This is not a story about victory on stage, but about how one note can change fate. Don't forget to subscribe and like so you don't miss new stories. Laura, bring some water to table 3 still, and don't forget, Mr. Barrington doesn't drink from a glass with a logo. I'm already running, Laura answered quietly, picking up the tray. She had been here a long time. Long enough not to be surprised by the requests, the people, the empty conversations that echoed beneath the sounds of the piano in the center of the room. The chamber was not just a place, it was a white tablecloth parade of vanity. You didn't order food here, you ordered status. Emma was sitting in the corner by the wall, quiet, with her back straight, with a huge violin case at her feet. You can wait here, okay? Just don't go near the tables, Laura whispered, leaning toward her daughter. I'll be right back. Emma nodded. There was no childish capriciousness in her gaze, only calm and strange concentration. She was 12, but her eyes were mature beyond her years. At the third table, wine was already being poured. There, as always, sat he, William Barrington, the king of the construction business and arrogance. Smooth, gray, with hands that pointed, not asked. Waitress, he said without looking, I believe your daughter carries a double bass around with her? It's a violin, sir, Laura answered calmly. Really? Let me see. Does she know how to play it, or does she just want to look talented? A couple at the next table laughed. One of the staff froze. My daughter studies, Laura said quietly. Every day. Seriously? Well, then let's check. He took out a paper 100, put it on the table, and loudly tapped the glass with a knife. Attention! We have a musical surprise here. The waitress's daughter wants to show off her talent. Laura turned pale. Please don't. Why not? Skills are not ashamed, right? Come on, baby. If your mother believes in you, show her that it is not in vain. Or are you afraid? Emma stood up. Emma, don't, the mother whispered, but the girl had already picked up the violin. Well, at least the strings didn't break, Barrington chuckled. The case opened. The worn wooden surface gleamed from within. Emma carefully pressed the violin to her shoulder. Her fingers took up position. The room grew a little quieter, but laughter still hung in the air like dust in the sun. And she began. The first sound was thin, single. The audience held its breath, not from admiration, but from the expectation of falseness. But there was no falsehood. The next notes sounded wider, clearer, deeper. Emma didn't just play, she spoke, without words, through strings, through breath, through what couldn't be put to notes. She didn't choose a popular piece, just a few bars of Bach, but in her hands, those bars sounded like a confession. The people stopped moving. The waiters froze. The piano was silent. Barrington did not smile. Professor Theodore Whitmore stood up. He was in the room by chance. Or maybe not by chance. His eyes were not wet, but there was a tremor in them that he had not felt for years. When Emma finished, there was silence in the room. The kind that can't be bought. The kind that makes people not applaud, because they're afraid of breaking what was just born. And then someone clapped. 1, 2. And the whole room stood up. Laura stood in the corner. Her hands were shaking. She didn't look at William, only at her daughter. Emma lowered her bow. She returned to her mother. Barrington leaned back in his chair. Well, it happens, he muttered. I didn't expect it. Whitmore approached Emma. Who is your teacher? Nobody. Who gave you the instrument? Mother. Who taught you to listen? I listened to her when she was sleeping. He slowly pulled a business card out of his pocket. Tomorrow, audition, Whitmore Academy of Music. Tell me your name, and nothing else will matter. Emma looked at Laura. You don't have to, said the mother. I don't want to be obligated. I just want to be heard. Laura nodded, and Whitmore was already heading for the exit. With the eyes of a man who had once again seen something more than just talent. And what remained in Emma's pocket was not a business card, but a melody, which she could now play not to prove a point, but simply to be. You shouldn't have played, Emma. I wanted to. But they laughed. I'm not for them, I'm for myself. Laura closed the front door and took off her coat. Her hands were shaking. Emma placed the violin on the table, carefully, as if it were a heart. He threw the money, Laura added quietly, like a handout. I thought you... I saw, Mom. And you still went out? And if you hadn't left, would it have been easier? Laura sat up. She rubbed her forehead. No, but maybe it would be safer. I don't want to be safe. She walked up to her mother and sat down next to her. You played too, didn't you? Long ago, before you, before everything. Dad didn't want to? Dad disappeared. He didn't understand why feelings were needed if there was a business plan. And I chose you. And now you regret it? Not a second. It's just sometimes painful to see your child doing what you yourself refuse to do. But you didn't stop me. Because I saw that you can, not just play, but listen. They fell silent. There was a business card on the table. White, clean. Theodore Whitmore, President. Whitmore Academy of Music. What do you know about him? Just the name, and the way he looked. He was my teacher, one semester. He always said, music is what sounds between the notes. I heard that. I know. The next morning, Emma got up at 6. Laura was already boiling water. You don't have to go, she said without turning around. I know, but I want to. They may not accept it, or they may accept it but then use it as a showcase. Look, we are great. We took a girl from the street. Then I won't let you become a showcase. Are you sure? No. But if I don't try, I'll definitely regret it. The academy building was like a museum. Columns, glass, a clean floor, a secretary in glasses and with a tablet. Are you here for an audition? Yes, said Emma. Professor Whitmore invited me. The woman nodded and led them down the corridor. Today is the selection for the junior class. 5 places. 18 applicants. And that's all? Children of sponsors, laureates, graduates. Well, and... She looked at Emma. Surprises. The hall was empty. A large stage, a grand piano, 2 judges in the front row, and Whitmore in the center. Good morning, Miss Collins. Hello, sir? Did you bring the tool? Yes. Okay, we don't have time for biographies. Just play, whatever you want. Can I go without an escort? It's your right. Emma came to the center, opened the case. The hall was quiet. Laura sat in the very corner. Emma took the bow, pressed the violin to her shoulder, closed her eyes, and she began. Not fast, not loud, but with breath. The melody was hers. Without a score, without a name. The judges whispered. Whitmore was silent. He wasn't looking at the equipment. He was listening. Halfway through the piece, a string trembled slightly. The bow snapped. A small pause, and Emma just continued, as if that was part of the composition. When she finished, she didn't bow. She just lowered her hands. The violin froze. The silence lasted for 3 seconds. You don't have a teacher? No, sir. Who taught me to hold my breath in a sentence? I copied when my mother thought I was sleeping. Do you know who Jacqueline Dupré is? Yes. I listened to her elegy at night under the pillow. Do you want to study? I want to play. The judges looked at each other. Thank you, said one. We'll let you know. No, Whitmore interrupted. She's accepted. Scholarship. Full. Professor, there is a protocol. The protocol is for those who are afraid to make an exception. He stood up and walked over to Laura. You were the best in my class, and you left. I chose. I don't regret it. And you did the right thing, because now the best one is sitting opposite me. He leaned towards Emma. Welcome home, Miss Collins. Emma nodded. Thank you, Professor. And on the way out, she said to Laura, Now I must become such that no one will dare to force me to play for fun anymore. And Laura smiled. No, dear. Now you must become such that they cry and do not understand why. Is this her? Who? Well, that girl from the restaurant. Yes, yes. A violinist in an apron. It's funny. She doesn't even have a normal case. Do you know what's strangest? They hired her right away, without a competition. Connections? Poverty. They laugh. They whisper. Emma hears. But she doesn't react. She walks down the academy corridor confidently, but inside it's as if she's holding a bow in a cracked hand. First day. New uniform, new walls, everyone is alien, and she is like a mistake in the system. Good morning, Miss Collins, the theory teacher nods. Good morning. Did they give you a schedule? Yes, sir. Your room is in the fourth wing. It's simpler but cozy. Everything is fine. I didn't come here for a room. He smiles, almost with relief. It can be felt. At dinner, she sits alone, at a long wooden table. She puts a spoon next to the tray and takes out a notebook. She writes notes, by herself, from her head, without scores. A composer or what? The girl with the French braid smiles. Rather, a listener. Do you know who I am? No. I'm Sarah Marlowe. My mom is a trustee. My dad is a scholarship sponsor. Understood. And you are right here on this line, right? I'm here because I passed the audition. Of course. The restaurant is a great rehearsal space. Emma looks her straight in the eyes. If you want, I'll play right here, on an empty glass. Just so you understand the difference between someone who is remembered and someone who is simply introduced. Sarah leans back slightly. You have a sharp tongue. It's dangerous. No, this is protection. Later she stands in the classroom. Individual lesson with Maestro Holton. Go ahead. What to play? Whatever you want. I want to hear what you think. Emma plays, a light piece, but with intonation, with pauses, with breathing. He is silent. Then he says, You have an unusual finger placement. I know. And a strange transition between octaves. I know. But I won't change it, because the sound is right. She smiles. Thank you. But, he raises a finger, here you will come across the fact that the correct sound is not always the correct origin. I'm ready. Laura calls in the evening. Emma turns on the video. How are you? Fine. Who do you live with? With a girl from Boston. Everything on schedule. And not a word out loud after 9. And the teachers? Strict, but honest. And the rest? Emma falls silent. It doesn't matter, I have a violin. Still alone? No, Mom, I'm not alone. I'm with what's inside. At the end of the week, Whitmore calls her into his office. Miss Collins, you are in 5th place in the overall ranking. For a first-year student, that is a record. Thank you. But you haven't participated in the ensemble yet. They told me I wasn't suitable. Who? Sarah Marlowe. She distrusts the intonation of street origin. He smiles. It's a rough comparison, but I expected it. She has good hearing, but a bad memory. Why? because she forgot what fear sounds like, but you haven't. This is bad? It makes the music real. He hands her the score. The concert is in a month, a public performance. I want you to play the second part. For now, the second. But we both know that it won't be forever. Why the second one? Because it will be louder when you become the first. Emma takes the notes. Thanks for space. This is not space. This is duty. At night, she sits in her room. The violin lies next to her. Sarah snores on the next bed. Emma opens the case, takes out the instrument. The bow trembles in her hand. She plays quietly. For herself. Without diagrams. Without judgment. Just to remind herself, I am not an accident. I am a choice. And from the corridor, a security guard passing by stops, listens, and smiles. Because even he knows, there is someone in this school who cannot be ignored. What do you mean you're in the main party? That's what it means. They replaced Monica, urgently. Someone messed up the dry rehearsal schedule, and the management decided to give me a chance. Do you believe it yourself? Shouldn't I? Sarah pressed her lips together and moved closer. Look, Emma, I know how this concert works. There's more than just an audience. There are trustees, sponsors. Half the room is six-figure donors. If you screw up, it's not just you who's going to suffer. It's the whole school. Reputation is more important than your improv sense. Then I won't be mistaken. And if you make a mistake, then it will be fair. And no one will be able to say that I didn't go out. Emma, will you come in for a minute? Whitmore's voice was calm as always, but his gaze was not distracted. He looked straight ahead, intently. I got a couple of calls. They told me that parental disapproval could jeopardize the funding program. Because of me? Because of your success? Do you want me to refuse? No, I want you to know. If you go out, I will be standing behind the stage. If you fail, I will not leave. But you must decide for yourself. Are you going there to please or to say? I want to say. He nodded. Then say it beautifully. There is noise behind the scenes. The musicians are tuning their instruments. The girls are fixing their hair. The wings are slamming. Someone drops a bow. Professor Holton is reading a list. First violin, Collins. Second, Marlowe. Third, Vincent. Sarah turns around. Congratulations. I hope you can handle it. I can't stand it. What? I'll just play. On stage, light. Everything else in darkness, hundreds of faces, cameras, ties, diamonds, people who are used to paying but not hearing. Whitmore stands to the side. Laura is in the very back row. In an old coat, clutching the armrest as if it were a life preserver. Are we ready? Holton whispers. Always, Emma answers. First chord, second. Silence is fragile. People are not listening yet. They are evaluating, comparing, waiting. And then Emma takes her first solo phrase. And everything changes. The sound is clear, not from technology, from the depths. It is not perfect. But there is something more in it. Something that makes the hall real. Did you hear? Whispers the woman in the box. Is this the girl from the restaurant? Oh my God, this is impossible. Sarah falters. Once on the second verse, then again. Emma doesn't react. She just leads, confidently, evenly. Without fear. The third part is a solo. Only she. The light is only on her. The bow trembles in the air, but the sound is calm. She does not look at the audience. She speaks, says what she didn't say as a child. What she wanted to scream when her mother cried in the kitchen. What was left inside when someone threw her a bill. The last note hangs like a dot, but no one gets up because they don't believe that everything has already sounded. Then, a clap. One. Another. Then, a storm. People get up. Whitmore stands. Holton takes off his glasses. Laura cries, but silently. Emma! Sarah catches up with her backstage. You played well. Thank you. It wasn't just good, it was… Sincerely? Yes. Then you heard. Sarah nods, slowly, wordlessly. I wanted you to fall, and you flew up. I didn't take off. I just didn't give up. Whitmore later approaches her. I knew you could do it. And if I couldn't, then that would be fair too. But you didn't come for the note. You came for the meaning. I thought it would be scarier. And it was. You just played louder than fear. He puts his hand on her shoulder. Today you became a musician, not because you played well, but because you played your truth. Emma nods. I don't know what will happen next. Then let's start with you playing tomorrow, without a stage, just because you want to. She smiles. This is the most important thing, right? It always was. And that evening, for the first time, her name is written in the concert program, not as guest, but as voice. Professor, may I? Certainly. Come in. Whitmore put the score down and looked up. Emma was standing in the doorway, holding a violin. I just wanted to say, thank you. For what exactly? For believing. For not asking, where are you from, but simply saying, play. He smiled slightly. And if I didn't believe it, I would still play. But not like this. How? Quieter. With caution. As if apologizing for my sound. He nodded and came closer. Emma, do you know why you won them and not the concert? Why? Because you didn't prove to them that you can do it. You reminded them why they started in the first place. She was silent. Then suddenly she asked, Can I play? Now? Here? Of course. But for whom? For Mom. She'll be here in 10 minutes. I want to play not as a student, but as a daughter. Laura walked down the hallway with flowers. No reason. No excuse. She just wanted to meet her daughter, not as a listener, but as someone whose faith turned out to be true. Miss Collins? Yes? Your daughter is in the hall. She said she's waiting for you. She said you'll understand. Laura walked in. Emma stood alone on the stage. The light was soft and warm. The violin lay on her shoulder. Can? Always, Laura whispered, and sat down in the front row. For the first time. Emma started playing. It wasn't Bach. It wasn't Mozart. It was a melody without a name. Simple. Warm. There was no challenge. There was no fear. Only gratitude. And something else. Very personal. Laura listened, without blinking. Did you come up with this yourself? She asked, when silence returned to the room. No. I just recorded what you sound like. When you smile, when you're tired, when you hold my hand, like I'm still little. Emma. I became who you were, didn't I? No. You've become better. Later, at the entrance to the academy, Whitmore caught up with them. Sorry, Laura. I'd like you to look into this. He held out the contract. Folded. Neat. What is this? Full coverage, until completion, including housing, food, additional program, and private lessons. No sponsors, only the Academy Fund. I didn't ask. And you deserve it. And you don't have to. But I want to. He paused and added, Emma doesn't just play. She reminds me that music isn't notes. It's a decision not to be silent. In the evening, Emma was sitting by the window. The violin was lying nearby. Soft snow was falling outside the window. Laura was sewing something on the sofa. Mom. M? Do you know what I'm thinking? About what? That I'm no longer afraid to go on stage, even if someone suddenly laughs again. Because now you have confidence? Because now I have a voice. Laura put down the needle. And if one day you lose it, I will remember how you listened to me, even when you were silent. Morning. Emma goes to the mirror, smiles. Are you going to play? Laura asks, serving her breakfast. No, not today. Why? Because today I just want to live. And that is also music. She smiles, and Laura knows the girl they once almost broke can now speak louder than anyone. Even without a violin,